Hi everyone, it's Fitz with the Power Talk following Wednesday's press conference with Kansas State Associate Head Coach Van Malone. And we had some pretty cool players come in. Cool as in big names. Well, let's put it this way. The three of the players are basically known by one name. Chidi, Toby, and Dylan. And then we also had Andrew Leingang, who I'm going to talk about the most here. It was a good press conference. Van Malone's always entertaining. Maybe not as informative in some areas, but always worth a good chuckle. I had a great tribute to my guy, D. Scott Fritchen, who turned 50 today. Don't know how that happened. He was my first young employee I hired. I'm really optimistic about this team. And today only kind of reinforced that because they just look like dudes. Daphne's going to join us, apparently. They look like dudes. Now, I've covered K-State football a long time, and I've covered them playing a lot of teams. And in particular, going to some bowl games when you get to speak with the other team, the other players before the game, and you see what they look like, and then you go cover K-State. There's often a pretty harsh difference. I remember that 2003 Ohio State game in the Fiesta Bowl. They just were much bigger. It's happened in a number of bowls. But Toby and Chidi, when they walk in a room, they're dudes. And Andrew Leingang, if you watch the video of the interviews we put up, I did that interview. And I just had to hold the camera. Now, I'm 6'2". I used to be 6'4". Don't get old. You just shrink. I'm 6'2", and I had to hold that camera up well above my line of vision to get him in frame because he's a big dude. And he's kind of the baby-faced assassin of that offensive line. We talked a lot about the loss of Connor Riley and moving on to Brian LePack and how that's been different and how it's been the same. But, the loss of Riles within the program, people don't understand his impact he had on the positivity, the energy, and the accountability that he held his players to. And that's going to be some of the things Brian LePack has to, take on. But I also think that from everything Leingang said, this is going really well. And look, they've had some injuries, they've had some setbacks, they've had some guys maybe not pan out the way they need to. But he feels really good about where they're at, knowing that they're not playing right away either. They've got the rest of the spring, the summer, and into fall camp to sort it all out. But he did express that some of the new guys coming in are having an impact, and some of the younger guys are stepping up. So we'll see how all that pans out. Now, what was also very interesting is they've kind of maybe delayed the 105-man, put a pause on it for now until the judge can sort it out what's best, because it does cut opportunities of student athletes. And I didn't get into this with Andrew because I don't think it's fair to ask a player about his teammates getting cut. But at 105 men, players, flat number, no walk-ons. Well, there can be walk-ons in that, or all 105 can be on scholarship. There's a lot of offensive linemen that are going to have to go. It is the most overstocked position group on the team in terms of there's just a lot of guys who've been here who haven't played, and we don't know if they will play. They would be probably on alert here that if they don't step up this spring and that 105 or some number is enforced, they could be among that group. Getting your scholarships out of balance is a fatal flaw that can kill off a coach and his staff. It happened at Oklahoma famously with John Blake when he had numerous offensive linemen. I think there was 30 plus when Bob Stoops arrived, and they had to sort that out immediately. When you get that heavy in one area and you're using scholarships lighter in other areas, there's a price to be paid. And so if there is a roster limit, there can be a correction here, but I almost sense that there might be a correction anyhow, that they might sort some of that out and move some guys along. The transfer portal is open. We'll see who wants to move on. And we'll see what shakes out here for K-State football. But again, as We're early in the spring. It wasn't an information-heavy press conference, but man, these dudes look legit. They just do. Leingang's a horse, man. He's I don't know what they list him at, 6'6", 3 something. Yeah. If you've ever seen me in person, I'm a big dude. Not as big as I used to be, by the way. Not just because I'm shrinking. But he just dwarfs me. Absolutely dwarfs me. So I don't know how much substance was here, but that's your power talk. Was it substance or lack of power? I don't know, but I appreciate it. We got lots of coverage at GoPowercat. Make sure you go check that out. And we will have a podcast tomorrow with Gills and I and the newbies as we talk about K-State football. Might slide a little basketball in there and talk about that. But that's it from the Cats and Dogs studio for now.